Hi, my name is David Tarnowski, and this is an exploration of media analysis and strategies. The Digital Marketing Institute article shares several important marketing strategies to create effective video for marketing. Each of these strategies will help to make sure that your video has the most lasting impact on your target audience. Print is still one of the most dominant forms of marketing, and the strategies presented in the Yellow Pages for Business article all provide insight into how to make your print marketing a more effective tool. Many of these strategies are applicable for both physical print as well as digital publication, and some of these strategies can even be applied to other mediums. According to the Buildfire article, the podcast market is still unsaturated, which means that there is still plenty of untapped potential. As with any other marketing medium, there are correct and incorrect ways to use this medium, and the strategies that the article provides are a great place to start. These fundamentals are essential to ensure that you are successful as you enter the wild world of podcasting. Perhaps the most creatively intense form of marketing is guerrilla marketing. This type of marketing focuses on engaging with the consumer on a more physical and personal level, and in many instances breaking the barrier between advertisement and the physical world. Although the rules for guerrilla marketing are virtually non-existent, the Adobe article provides some basic guidelines to follow when considering this avant-garde form of marketing. Now it's time to get a little personal with it. I am an avid media consumer, and I see several of the strategies that I read about frequently used. The first is that almost every morning when I wake up, I open up my news app on my phone and I scroll through the headlines. This is how I get up to date on not only the most important things going on in the world, but also on topics that I have selected as interesting. Many of the strategies listed in the article talk about print advertising are used, and the two main ones that I encounter are select an image that reinforces the title's message and don't say too much. The tagline and title of the news articles are usually what determine if I take the next step of opening and reading the article. Additionally, having an image that is intriguing helps to influence me as well. Recently, I came across a fitness program called V-Shred. This program is advertised all over Facebook and Instagram, and I ignored it for a while until I saw a video of a guy saying that I could lose weight and not have to give up the delicious food that I love to eat. As I continued to watch, before and after transformation pictures were shown, and before I knew it, I was on the landing page preparing to order my workout guided supplements. Now, this doesn't happen on a daily basis, but it is a prime example of a couple of great video marketing strategies. By using the strategies of center your video around the story, not the sale, and make your video feature the best 10 seconds ever, I became engaged by the story that they told about body transformation for so many guys struggling with their weight, and the promise they made in the first 10 seconds of not losing the food that I love to eat. Lastly, I have recently become a consumer of podcasts. I'm not an avid listener, but I like to listen to the long car rides. There are a couple of podcasts that I regularly will listen to, and they all share some of the essential qualities of a quality podcast. They all use quality equipment because the audio is not only clear, but they will also include sound effects and appropriate music throughout their podcast. I have literally stopped listening to new podcasts because they didn't have those things. It's hard to engage you with content when you can barely hear it. Additionally, they also have kick-ass landing pages, from the title of the podcast to the description and the images that they use. All of these things enticed me to give them a listen initially. Now, there are several key items that I will take away from the articles that I read. Each will serve its own purpose in helping me become more effective in media communications. Using humor in your video. Many times that I create a promo video or commercial for the restaurant that I am working for, I try to incorporate humor into the video. Although this is not always appropriate, it is definitely my favorite tool and one that I think is the most effective because people always remember something that made them laugh. This idea also applies to many print advertisements that I've created in the past. Next, don't say too much. During my years of creating posts and ads for social media and print, I have quickly learned that this is extremely important. Not only does having too much information or work detract from the overall message, but it also makes the advertisement visually unappealing. Less information, but not enough, also makes it so that the target consumer is intrigued and either interacts with the ad to learn more or reaches out to you to get more information, which then allows you to start marketing to them on a personal level. Next, making it interactive. Although this is one that I have not really had an opportunity to use myself, I love the example that was included, and I think that in the future this would definitely be a strategy that I would figure out how to implement into my marketing. I think that something that is tangible becomes memorable because the consumer is engaging more than one sense to interact with your marketing. After that, centering your video around the story, not the sale. As someone who has created video for restaurants that use local ingredients, this strategy is important to me. A lot of customers that eat at these restaurants love to know that the food is local, and then when you give them the story behind the farm or the distributor of that product, it helps to create a more personal experience for the guest. It also helps to make the customer feel a part of what you are doing at your business rather than feeling like you're trying to sell them something. So ultimately, they become subconsciously more open to what you are marketing to them. And lastly, lowering psychological barriers that prevent your customers from taking the next step. This is one that I think is extremely important in any form of marketing because it really will determine how successful your campaign will be. As a consumer, free information will always be more desirable to me than something that I have to pay for with time or money. I am much more likely to purchase something that has a free trial than I do something that doesn't. The strategies that I have picked up are for the most part, applicable across all forms of marketing. These will continue to evolve as new technologies bring about new standards, but even so, I believe that these fundamental strategies will apply for those as well. I understand the importance of tracking trends, and there are a couple of strategies that I will continue using and build upon. Checking out the trending sections on social networks. This is something that I almost always do when I first sign into a social network already. I like being aware of the world around me, and this not only helps me with that, but because social media is so personalized already, it allows me to keep track of trends in fields that I am inherently interested in as well. And then subscribing to trendy blogs, news sites, and social profiles. Now, this is something that I also already do to some capacity. However, it is something that I can definitely become more engaged with. These are both extremely helpful in the media communications industry because you have to make sure that what you are using to market will not only be on the most trendy platforms, ensuring that you reach the most people, but also that your content is on par with other successful marketing campaigns. It is rare to find a product that is so inherently unique that it can market itself, so you are left competing with whoever else has a similar product. It is up to you to not only make sure that your marketing stays in line with trends, but also helps to ensure that your product can pivot to remain relevant. At the end of the day, no matter what your platform or purpose for creating content, you want to make sure that you can reach the most people with your message in the most effective way, which is why keeping track of trends is extremely important. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation.